Federal prosecutors say the music mogul has been charged with racketeering conspiracy. They say he ran an enterprise that was involved in sex trafficking, kidnapping, forced labor, and several other charges. We are now awaiting the official details behind that indictment. Let's listen in.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the U.S. Attorney here in the Southern District of New York. Today, I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them drugs, by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his abuse, kidnapping, and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs to pay for the commercial sex workers. The indictment also alleges that they helped Combs cover up his crimes. During the March 2016 incident at the LA hotel that I mentioned earlier, a member of the hotel security staff intervened, and Combs attempted to bribe the staff member with a stack of cash to make sure that what happened was kept quiet. And as the indictment alleges, in late 2023, after public allegations were made about Combs's crimes, he and others pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, including by making phone calls to witnesses and victims and giving them a false narrative of what they had experienced. And as alleged, Combs used others to help conceal his abuse by monitoring and preventing victims from leaving a location in order to hide their injuries, or by locating and contacting a victim who had attempted to flee. As part of this investigation, in March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs's residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs's electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether. Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Now, I want to be clear about 2 things. First, this office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be. No one should doubt our commitment on that. A year ago, Sean Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice in the Southern District of New York. Second, we are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly. Anyone with information can call 1-877-4HSI-TIP. I want to express my deep appreciation for the victims and witnesses who have used their voices and helped bring this criminal conduct to light. We would not be here without them. I also want to thank the dedicated case agents on the HSI Trafficking in Person Squad in New York. They have been with us since day one and have worked tirelessly on this investigation. They will continue to be invaluable partners to us. I also want to thank the incredible agents and analysts from SCNY who have also provided tremendous assistance on this case. I'm deeply grateful for their continued work. And finally, I want to thank the outstanding career prosecutors from SCNY who are handling this case. Meredith Foster, Emily Johnson, Chrissy Slavic, Madison Smizer, and Mitzi Steiner, and their supervisors, Jamie Backleepter and Jacqueline Kelly. They are members of the Civil Rights Unit in our criminal division. We created the Civil Rights Unit when I became U.S. Attorney. I am deeply proud of their work on this and so many other cases. I'll now take some questions.
Aaron Katursky, ABC.
Thanks, Nick. Damian, thanks. The indictment, open, violent, hedonistic abuse that you say was recurrent and widely known. Why did it take law enforcement so long to intervene? How many women were victimized by Sean Combs, and how many others were involved?
Look, our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long. I think the better focus is on the fact that we are here today. And we are committed to making sure that justice is done. Next question.
Thank you, NBC. Ainsley, NBC.
Thank you for doing this. You said we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Janet Fisher, Newsday.
Yeah. What's the difference between the sex trafficking and promoting travel for the purpose of prostitution?
Well, there are different crimes with different elements. I don't think we should get into the nitty-gritty of the legal discussion right now, but the sex trafficking, we believe, they're all serious offenses, but the sex trafficking conduct carries some significant penalties, and we are gratified that we were able to bring that charge.
Is one more coercive than the other?
I'm not going to be able to get into that, but you can look it up, and yes, sex trafficking, especially when it involves coercion or force, is a very serious crime, and it carries significant penalties.
Good afternoon, Darla Miles, ABC 7 New York. Thank you for this press conference and for the details. 2 questions. In context of this indictment and the information that was presented to the grand jury, are you able to clarify the number of victims? It's mentioned plural in the indictment, but can you specify the number of victims just for this particular indictment? And secondly, can you provide details about the alleged arson?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to provide either. The number of victims, you are correct. We are intentional in saying multiple. The details of the arson incident are limited to what we have in the indictment and also the detention letter that we filed, which contains more details than the indictment does at various points. But we don't have anything more beyond that. Next question.
Lynn Tran, CNN.
Are any of his accomplices or associates under investigation? And additionally, could he face any more charges?
So the investigation is ongoing. That means both as to him and to anyone else who we believe committed the crime with him. Next question.
Juliette Papa.
Hi, good morning from 1010 Wins. Any indication that some of the women or victims here were imprisoned in his residences, and did he have locations where he kept them, and were not allowed to leave? And also, he's indicted here, although there were searches and raids in LA, Miami. Why in New York?
Well, I'm biased. I'm the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York. I think that we have an outstanding track record of bringing some of the most impactful, sprawling, complex, difficult sex trafficking, human trafficking, labor trafficking, you name it. The Southern District of New York can do it, and so we're very proud of that. And so the scope and complexity of this investigation isn't something that we ran from. It's something that we embrace, and we will continue to do that. As to your question about whether he imprisoned anyone, all I can say is that, I mentioned this March 2016 incident where something was caught on video where a victim was attempting to flee, and there was violence that was associated with it.
Was that at the residence or a hotel?
That was at a hotel.
Matthew Lee, Inner City Press.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Does your office intend to seek remand, or are you reaching a bail package? And if you're willing, how would you contrast this with the R. Kelly case in EDNY in terms of the elements? Thanks.
So we will be seeking detention. We have filed a letter laying out our reasoning for seeking pretrial detention. I'm not going to be able to expand beyond what's in the letter, but it contains all of the reasoning, and it contains the law as well. There is a presumption of detention in a case like this, and we think that's warranted.
Thank you. John Anise, New York Daily News.
Thank you. I was hoping to get some more detail about the searches of his residence, the guns, the cases of lubricant, and the videos. Where were they found amongst his residence? Were they all scattered around the houses in one place? I kind of wanted to just get a better picture of how that stuff was found.
Well, look, I think that some of the details that you're seeking are in the detention letter. So, for instance, some of the AR-15s, 2 of the 3 defaced AR-15s were found in his bedroom closet in Miami, broken down into parts, along with magazines, with ammunition loaded in them. So some of that detail is in the detention letter. Beyond that, I'm not going to be able to get into where other items were stored.
Ben Kochman, Post.
Hey, thanks for doing this. Your office was the office that had been prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein before he died in custody. I have not read your detention memo yet. It's the first thing I'm going to do after this ends. But does the memo address, or is your office concerned with Combs' safety in custody, given what happened with Epstein?
So we are concerned with anyone's safety whenever they are detained prior to trial. It's part of our obligations to keep people safe as well. It's part of the criminal justice system. So, but I do not draw any sort of connection between Jeffrey Epstein's suicide and what may or may not happen to any other defendant while they are detained pre-trial. And of course, the decision whether to detain the defendant will be up to a judge. Our position is that pretrial detention is warranted under the law and based on the facts of this case, and I'll leave it at that.
Are some of the prosecutors on this case some of the same prosecutors that had been handling that, or that worked on the Maxwell case?
So I'm not going to get into the staffing. I will say that this team, this group of AUSAs, this incredible group has been working on this case around the clock, and they've had their hands full. Next question.
Gus Rosendale, NBC News.
Good morning, sir. Combs' attorney said that his client has been cooperative with investigators. He said that this morning. I was wondering if you would have a reaction to that.
Let me just say this. I think that generally with increasing frequency, the word cooperative or cooperating has taken on tremendous elasticity and it no longer really bears any relation to what the word means when we use it in a very specific context. So responding to lawful process and the like does not qualify as cooperation when we use that term here.
Mike Sisak, AP.
Thanks. To that end, was there any discussion of Mr. Combs surrendering? I understand he was taken into custody at a hotel in Manhattan last night, and maybe that wasn't the plan. Can you elaborate on how that came about and why that was?
I'm not going to be able to get into any sort of operational details as to how he was taken into custody and when. He is in custody right now. He will be appearing in court later today.
Was there any discussion of him surrendering, given they claim he's cooperating?
I'm not going to be able to get into law enforcement tactics or operations.
I mean, you make a big deal of the guns, but how come they're not charged outright or with obliterating serial numbers? That's what I'm not.
Well, I can't get into the charging decision. It is very meaningful to us that weapons were possessed, as we allege in the indictment. Part of the reason why this conduct was so pervasive and harmful was because victims and others didn't necessarily feel comfortable denying him his wishes, as we allege, because of the presence of firearms. I should leave it there.
Thanks. Last question, Jacob Shamison.
Jacob Shamsian, Business Insider. Thank you. Given that he's the sole defendant in this case and that you allege he's part of a conspiracy that involves members of his companies, do you anticipate a superseding indictment that bring allegations against other members of his companies or other co-conspirators as well?
I can't take anything off the table. Anything is possible. Our investigation is very active and ongoing. And I think a lot of you who cover this office know that when we say such things, that developments are certainly foreseeable, but I cannot predict them sitting here today. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. What part of his business empire is exposed for Richard?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, what's up? Welcome back. And the news is out. Boy, this Diddy stuff is off the chain. I seen part of the indictment. I haven't read it all. But man, I just watched the feds speak. You know what? Feds, man, you can't trust them, man. If you've been working with them since day one, turning in all your passports, evidence, everything, be like, hey, I'm cooperating, blah, 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 blah. I've been this, I ain't running, I ain't nothing. They still try to screw you. They try to make it like you the worst of the worst and deny your bail. Because, you know what? I'm not saying nothing Diddy did was right. Especially about the Cassie stuff. We seen the video, everybody sees that, everybody know that was fucked up, everybody can agree with that and say that. So I think whatever charge, how you want to charge him on that, and since if she's gonna take the stand and say her thing into it, you get your charge or whatever, cool. But I just still find it hard to believe all these freak offs, boy, these freak. I just find it hard to believe that all these people, and I'm pretty sure this just ain't one time these persons of interest went to these freak offs. That's what we need to find out. Now, if you went to a freak off, do some wild shit. Y'all know what I'm talking about, some wild shit. Popping pills, you know, taking X, doing all that freaky shit. I think, I could be wrong, but I think you understood the deal before you went in that room. I think you know what's gonna happen if you go in that room. If you choose to go in that room, you know what's going on in that room. And you know, we hearing that, you know, he used that as way to keep people in check, like, hey, if you don't do this, well, if you ain't doing this, then I'm not gonna give you this, which I'm not gonna give you this position, or I'm not gonna make you famous or whatever. I mean, those choices you gotta make. At the end of the day, you a grown ass person. You gotta make those decisions. Are you gonna be comfortable with doing some shit and moving on with your life, knowing you done some wild shit? Cause the shit I heard about he had Cassie doing, like he had her picking her male escorts. I'm like, and he was just watching. I'm like, he was watching his own live porno. He was watching his own live porno. But damn, with Cassie was bad. I remember looking at Cassie like, man. But damn, to hear she was doing all of that shit, it was like, woo. Lord, Lord, Lord. But hey, I know there's some women right now for $100 to do all of that shit. So I heard. I don't know them personally, but I know some rappers, and they tell some stories about some of you broads. So how you think, I don't want to bring her name up in it, but matter of fact, I ain't even gonna bring her name up in it. She got a book about all the rappers. I'm gonna leave it at that. But the feds, man, they just, it's just wild to me. Because I guess apparently, you know, he offered up $50 million for his bail. They denied his bail here from what I just seen. He got the racketeering, the RICO charges. They saying more people, they gonna be either they working with the feds, they cooperating, and their name just haven't been released on the indictment yet, but it's coming down the line. I still think he should get bail, regardless of whatever. I don't think he's gonna go nowhere. He, like I said, he didn't turn in his passport over. From what I'm hearing, this shit was back in April and May. Turned in his passport, which is crazy. Even his kids.
Then take the first left.
Kids, sister, mother, they done all turned in their passports. I'm like, what they got to do with it? Like, why would I have to turn in my passport? Like, if they decide to leave the country, I don't know. So this is making me think, do they got something to do with what's going on? I have no idea, but it's weird why they even put up their passports Maybe it's something I don't understand about that. Like, why would they put up their passports? But that's crazy. Oh, glad I did get off. So yeah, they put up their passports. He tried to use, I guess, the house he had out in Cali or whatever. He finished paying off the $18 million he had owed like a couple months ago.
At the traffic light, then take the
And so he put that up as collateral, but from what I'm just hearing now, you know, they denied his bail. But the Fed's trying to make him like he's a threat to society. I don't see that. He's not no narco. He's not El Chapo out here. he may be El Frico or the Freakos, but he's not El Chapo's. I have not. One thing besides the Tupac and Biggie shit was the only shit that I ever heard about him maybe having involvement with. And I ain't heard none of that shit come up in the indictment by him giving out the $1 million. Maybe that may come down in the other case. I don't know. Maybe they figuring out some shit to run them all together. Who knows? But I haven't seen anything crazy. Well, I guess Kid Cudi did get his car blown up. I guess Cassie said he threatened Kid Cudi to blow up his car. I don't know. I want to know this. I need to know this whole story about Cassie and Kid Cudi. I think he was trying to holler at her or some shit. I don't know. I heard something like that, but Puffy wasn't having it. It's like, I'll blow that nigga car up. And apparently his car went boof. At least Kid Cudi said that actually did happen. His car did blow up, but you can't say that. I don't think Puffy himself was like Ghost. Put some gloves on and went out there and found his car and blew it up. You're going to have to find the person who actually did that and use that as credible information, not just he say, she say shit. But yeah, so they're not letting him out. He's facing up minimum 15 years, maximum could be life. Woo! And life, man, it's crazy. Me, I guess when they raided his house or whatever, they did find, which the feds always trying to put this shit up there, some assault weapons, or rifles, maybe a 100-round drum. That shit ain't legal. I can buy that. They always try to put that like something's wrong. Now I don't know if it was registered in his name or whatever, or security at the house. Who knows? But they did say one of the ARs, the numbers were, I guess, kind of smudged. Now that's a problem. You got the numbers trying to like delete the numbers off the AR. You might as well just have a fucking ghost gun. Why would you keep that shit at the house if it's... Oh damn, I guess they're all closed. So can't go there. Thought I could. It closed down early. What time? I guess it is 6, man. But yeah, so that's the problem. And you know what? I'm not hearing anything. Maybe I missed something. But it seems like all the escorts were men.
Turn left on Bedford Road.
From what I've been hearing and seeing, I heard them say male escorts. I haven't heard them say women escorts or none of that. And they did say well, they didn't say it was a woman. I guess it could have been a man. But people were being dragged. A couple incidents where if he got upset, he would drag you. He was dragging people by their hair and all that type of stuff. Could be a woman, could be not. Could be a long-haired man. I don't know. But yeah. So they did say that, but I did hear male escorts a lot. And I know when Cassie spoke, from what they were saying, that she had to sleep with a bunch of men and whatever, and he would, like I said, it was just his real life porno. But I'm like, damn, Cassie. But like I said, man, I think, hold up, let me be right back. back. I had to put out some business cards real quick. But yeah, so man, 15 years to max life. But his lawyers and them, you know, they said they gonna fight it to the fullest, you know.
Turn right, then take the first
All I'm thinking now, man, if you got a get out of jail free card, now it is your time. And my only thing is, if they took his it said reportedly that he got all the files and stuff that he used to record of people. He used to use that to hold them hostage.
Then take the second right.
Into doing stuff. They got that. So my only thing thinking is like, okay, how many high up people, real high up people he got on tape? And if they took that, what if that just disappears? When they took that, they erased that. So the high up people, it's like, hey, we cool, we out to win. We not on tape no more. But all you low level people, all you entertainment cats, and all you regular people who were there at them freak offs, woo, I know y'all shitting in y'all pants right now. Y'all like, woo. Y'all like, man, let me get out the motherfucking way. Y'all better not say a word of anything about Diddy, which I get it. You can't speak on shit, especially if you was there. You can't say nothing. So, man, we gonna see how this plays out. Like I said, it's crazy how election time. And I heard this was the actual day he got arrested, the day that Tupac passed away. It's like, wow, this is crazy. Everybody was like, ain't that a coincidence? Karma coming back on you. I was like, man, that's crazy. But I want to see all the names. I gotta read through this indictment and see all the names if they put it out on the indictment that I got, or is it gonna be another one? Like I was just saying, that they're gonna have more people being indicted, and we're gonna see who the defendants are and everything, and the co-defendants. So they saying, you know, his higher up staff and everything was involved. A lot of workings, people. The shit is gonna hit the fan. But it did say when they raided his house, they found over 1,000 bottles of lubricant. I'm like, God damn, that's a lot of lube. That is a lot of lube. Over 1,000 bottles. What size are these? Just little bottles, or is these? Are these the good adult size bottles? You got 1,000 of them bottles? Boy, it was some wild shit, boy. And I just need to know what type of MDMH he was taking, X or whatever, because, man, that shit, he been going. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people I know who was heavy in our area on that shit, you can see them slowing down and deteriorating in your brain, because, you know, remember that said it just eats at your brain or whatever. At least that's what we was told or seen about that shit when it all came out back in the day. Eventually it'll catch up with you. But man, if they was saying that shit would go on for days. So I'm like, damn, for days? You gotta be on some wild shit. Now I do know them X pills. Them X pills will keep you up. You be up like a motherfucker. So if you done been on a couple of those, you be up for a few days. Like, nigga, I can't sleep. You feeling like 10 pounds. Your wood is stuck, feeling like 10 pounds of neck bones. You like, man, I gotta savage something. But man, that shit's a lot. This shit, man, you just gotta get your popcorn. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. You're gonna have to get your popcorn with this Diddy shit, because I'm like, man, when the names get to rolling, you're gonna be looking at a lot of people different. You're gonna be looking at people different. And I'm still tripped off about the shit that I heard that he had Cassie do, and that I guess you got it, man. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of motherfuckers who got some wild sexual desires out here. And, you know, I guess it's like the Romans. Puffy was like, what happens in Rome stays in Rome. And, or what is it? We do as Romans do? Because we know the Romans was wild. They was on some freak shit. I watched enough historical shows and all of that shit about Romans. Like, boy, y'all some wild motherfuckers. So Diddy was one of them Romans. He should have been, he must have lived back then and came back to life in this time, and he still had that Roman mind frame, so that's why he was just on that level. Because the shit that I heard, yeah, that shit's wild. That shit's wild. But hey, you know, I know a lot of y'all can't be out here judging Diddy off doing some freaky shit. Because what was me and my wife was just watching last night? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Not the old one, but the new show. We was watching it last night, the season. And Aunt Viv and damn, Uncle Phil, they needed to get away and just bring back themselves, because they was having some issues in their marriage or whatever. Shit was getting kind of crazy, so they took a vacation. And when they took this vacation, they end up running into some friends. Where they took the vacation, it was like this resort spot or whatever. They end up running into a couple friends who they knew, and they started talking about everything, how we haven't seen you. But this one couple was like, hey, yeah, now they look good, but like, what have y'all been doing? And they go like, yeah, we end up getting into an open marriage. The wife was talking about she got a young 25-year-old, and so they all got to talking. It was like, how does that work? And she was like, yeah, you know, they was like, it saved their marriage. Their marriage was going down crazy, and they decided to have an open relationship. So it got to one point, so they was all talking about it, like, okay. They was like, feeling it was like, that's what y'all doing? Oh, okay, that's what y'all doing. I guess that's what it is nowadays. So it got to one night, the end of the night, one of the couples had went off. You know, they probably was doing their thing, and then Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv was with the couple who was actually about that life. So, you know, they got to talking. Next thing you know, you seen them out in the pool, whatever, together, and they had swapped off. I was like, oh shit, Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv is about to do the damn thing. So it showed them walking back to. Y'all gonna have to watch the Fresh Prince. Fresh Prince show is good. I actually like the show. It's good. But they end up walking back to the room, walking back with the couples, and the couple that went in the room was like, hey, well, it's about to be a good night. You know, they had that look in their eye, and they was like, want to come in for a nightcap? All you seen was Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil go in for a nightcap. I was like, oh shit, they wildin'. They wildin'. But and then it flashed to something else, but then it came back where Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv went into their room and was laughing about it, and was like, basically they didn't go through with it. You know what I'm saying? She was like, the wife was like, all I need is you. That doesn't, it's not her. So I was like, okay, that's how they played it out. That was good. That was a good one, because they had everybody thinking, because when I seen it, I was like, oh shit, they about to do the damn thing. So hey, there's a lot of y'all grown folks out here that done some shit with somebody, so y'all can't be judging Diddy on having his freak offs. That's all I'm saying. A lot of y'all out here, I see y'all on Instagram thotting up, and a lot of you girls are selling yourself. Oh, I just want to make a note on this, which I said it before. Fellas, if you learn one thing from this Puffy incident, one thing, do not fly her ass out. One thing. Do not put her on a plane. Do not buy a ticket. Do not do none of that shit. That shit was player at one point. This shit was player. You know, you fly your bitch out. She feeling special, like, oh, he didn't flew me into the city. No. I suggest you be very, very selective with who you do that with. Don't be just flying out all randoms and all of that shit like that. because you're going to get your shit jammed up. And this, because that's what it seems like they putting on Diddy. It's like, oh, he done flown bitches across state, da-da-da-da-da. And now when they got there, he treated them a certain way. So it's racketeering and all his people getting tied up. That's what it's seeming like. So do it if you want to. Because all she going to do, if you piss her off, she get to acting crazy. Oh, he did this to me. He did da-da-da-da. He did this. I'm suing him. I'm filing. I'm calling the cops. It's a rap, nigga. They consider this trafficking. And then if once that story get out and somebody else hear about it, like, oh, he was fucking with you? Oh, I don't like that. I'm going to say he did the same thing to me. Woo. So players, Slim Thug. I didn't see you. I seen you over there in Italy and everything, living your best life. I ain't mad at you, player. I ain't mad at you, player. But hey, that's the only thing I'm saying is be very selective on who you flying out of state, out the country, because that shit's trafficking now. That's just trafficking. You can't do that no more. So all y'all brides who want a ticket and hey, buy your own ticket. This is where I'm at. Buy your own ticket. You can fly out, but I ain't paying for your hotel. I ain't paying for none of that. You want to come out? If I run up with you, we gonna kick it. Whatnot. But they still probably try to get you on that shit. So hey, fellas, just be very careful on that shit. That's one thing I'm telling you. Y'all do what y'all want to do, because I think there's gonna be a lot of people. It's women. Vultures right now, just in the background looking like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. It's a lot of y'all niggas, well, we didn't heard about you niggas flying bitches out. But I wonder, is that trafficking if they do that? Because, I heard stories about women going to Dubai. Some wild shit. Shit I heard was worse than Diddy. So, you Instagram models getting flown out to Dubai. So I wonder, can they charge them? But you know what? They never charge the women. They never charge the women who selling themselves legit. They get a slap on the wrist. They can just go on about their business. They can sell their shit all they want. They don't get no crazy charges, nothing of that. Because, like, here in Dallas, it fucked me up. Me and the wife was going to an old club we used to go to. Which it didn't change. Which it used to be, if y'all know Beamers. Is it Beamers? I forgot what it's called now, but I think it was Beamers. Over there by DG's. If you know what I'm talking about, it's over in that area, not too far from there. You know what I'm talking about. But we went there, what was it, last year? Because we ain't been, pandemic and everything, then it changed. I can't think, it ain't Beamers no more. I can't think of what the fuck the name is now. But we went, and when we was going, dog, it looked like, I thought it was a video for a minute. I thought somebody was a video. But they were out working. I mean, ass cheek, butt naked working. I think it's over there around Harry Hines. There's a guy we end up watching on YouTube where it came up and the guy from Dallas was going around shooting Harry Hines. I was like, damn, that's where we was. Not too far, because I think Beamers is not too far from that Harry Hines, but we was over in that area. And I was like, man, we should have recorded that shit that night and put that shit out. Because I was like, this shit was wild. I was like, damn, this area done got like this. Police ain't doing nothing. And that's what the guy was showing in his video. It's like, police ain't doing nothing. And it was like, they pull them over, let their asses go about their business. So it's crazy how women can sell shit, not really get in trouble. But if you pay for the shit, you get in trouble. That just fucks me up. That just fucks me up. That just fucks me up real good. Like, but what about her? Wait, if I go to jail, we both going to jail. I just paid her, so why am I going to jail? But so yeah, man, this get your popcorn, man, your kettle corn, whatever you want to do, your gourmet popcorn. But I think this shit is about to get real wild with this Puffy. And me personally, if I was Puffy, if I got some other information stashed somewhere, I'm using my get out of jail free card there. I may pay a bag or something, But I'm gonna be like, oh boy from New Jack City. This shit is bigger than me. If I'm going down, everybody going down. Yeah, everybody. All you elites and high up. If I'm going down, everybody going down. Everybody. So this shit is bigger than me. So that's all I'm gonna say. But hey, I just wanted to share that real quick, man. And like I said, y'all get your popcorn and get ready for the shit show. But hit that thumbs up, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and stay up with the fam. And I'm out. Peace.